to the Real Estate Scripts Podcast, the show that helps you know what to say when you're talking to buyers and sellers so that you can close more deals and earn more money. I'm Darren Tunstall, a real estate professional, coach, and #1 best-selling author. Let's get into this. All right, everybody. Welcome back to the show. Today we are going over the script titled Prepare the Seller to Leave Their Home During the Showings. As a reminder, the purpose of Scripts and Dialogues is to come, learn, practice, and be prepared to fail forward. This is where we make mistakes and help each other out, but we're mostly interested in seeing how we can get better. First, we read through the script word for word, and then we go back and put it into our own natural tone, style, and phrasing. You won't know what to say until you go through the script. So, with that said, many people will say, that's not how I sound. And I totally get it. That's not how you sound. But that is the reason why we practice every day, so that the script becomes you and in your own voice. So, read it word for word first, then go back and put it into your own natural tone, style, and phrasing, and I think it'll work out.
Isn't there also a culture that they don't want to leave their home? It seems like I've seen something on a webinar about this. Like they just sit still, like on the couch, but they don't leave the home. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's a little
Oh,
weird, but I think people should, in my opinion, I personally think people should leave the home.
yeah. So
Yeah.
people can, the clients and agents can speak freely and
Yeah, because when they start interjecting their opinion into
right,
things, they can talk a client right out of it as well.
right.
And we don't really want them to, we want the agent needs to be allowed to do their job. So let's jump into this script. Prepare the seller to leave their home during the showings. Let's set the stage. A potential buyer wants to see the home listed for sale on the multiple listing service, MLS, either at an open house or a private showing. The requirements is that the home is secured by a residential listing agreement. The home is listed on the MLS. You have an open house scheduled, and private showings are allowed. And the intention is to have the homeowner leave the home so that the showing agent can have privacy between them and their client. The
Okay.
bottom line is, too, going back to Debbie's point earlier, is if the homeowner is just adamant they're not going to leave, then you just work with what you have. So let's hear Debbie and Emily. Debbie, you're going to be the agent, or Emily?
Yeah, I'll be the agent. Well, Mr. and Mrs. Zimmerman, I'm so happy that we're getting your open house ready. And I wanted to give you a heads up on some of the things, that'll be taking place. As you know, we put your property on the multiple listing service. And so now there's access to, all the agents and anyone, to see your property online. A couple of things, and when we had walked your house, the only thing I would say is maybe to put your trash cans on the side of the house. And of course, your house is pristine, Mrs. Zimmerman. You want to make sure like your valuables and any medications are not in place. And as you know, it's going to be from 11 to 4 on Saturday and Sunday. And so you're going to want to do something with your dog. If you would like, we could have the dog in the garage and have signs not to open the door. Or if, since you won't be here,
Well, I figure I'd be here because I don't want anyone to let the dog out.
well, okay. And I understand that some people want to be in their home. However, it doesn't let the agents and their potential buyers talk freely about what they're seeing.
Well,
And
they might have questions that the agent doesn't know how to answer. So maybe I should be here in case they have any questions.
well, I would say 99.9% of the time, the sellers are not at home because it makes the potential buyers uncomfortable.
Really? But
Um,
I want to meet who's going to move into my home. I've lived here for 35 years.
well, I mean, if they do have a question that I'm unable to answer, I can always get back to them. But that way, your husband and yourself can talk freely, about, what you would do or what your likes or if you dislike something without, I've had clients say something, oh my God, this orange carpet is hideous. And of course, if you were there and it was your home, you go, well, I love that carpet, or whatever. So it, it,
Right. Well,
it
that's why I want
makes,
to meet the buyers. I don't want to just anybody. I want people to appreciate the home I've put so much into for the last 35 years.
well, there's an awful lot of showings this weekend. And usually when this happens, you, for example, if we have clients viewing your home, there's
Mhm.
also another house 3 doors down that's showing.
Mm.
It just makes it a more comfortable situation, and also it's the same as if they, used our service and wanted to schedule an appointment. It would be the same thing. That's why I had given you and your husband the the time slots that you would be willing to leave the house, for
Mm.
even 20 minutes so that
Okay.
the house could be shown.
I thought we
Uh,
didn't have to. Okay, I misunderstood. Okay, I
yeah,
get it. I guess
yeah,
that
and
makes sense.
yeah, and on those, it's usually a 15-20 minute on the appointments. Of course, on the day of the open house, it is going to be a 5 hour open house. And I understand, that might be long. So hopefully you have someone where you could stay, Um, and then, you know, if you keep in mind that, and you've told me that you guys want, now that you're retired, you want to move closer to your 5 children. And so this will just get you to, your house sold in a timely period. And especially if there's, a lot of traffic
Hmm.
coming in, it makes the potential buyers, go, okay, I need to, make a move on this house. Just one last thing. On the day, are you going to be leaving the dog in the garage or are you taking the dog with you?
I'll take them with me. I don't trust people to, you
Oh,
know.
okay. Well, and then so one last thing, just make sure, that you've locked the front door because we just don't want people coming and going like if you leave earlier and they know that there's an open house and that's for your security. When I get there, I will be using my my lockbox to get in, and I will be there for when the other agents show up. And like I said, just don't leave any valuables out, and hopefully we have a really good showing. The weather's supposed to be spectacular this weekend.
Yeah.
Did you have any other questions?
Sell my house.
Okay. Well, typically, so after Saturday and Sunday, I think in this market we'll have multiple offers.
I hope
So
so.
By Monday evening, we'll go over the offers and, see what your thoughts are on the offers we received with you and your husband. Sound good?
Okay. That sounds
Okay.
good.
All right. Okay. Well, thanks for your time, and I can't wait. The
I
flyers have
can't
already
either.
been sent to all your neighbors, and if you know of anyone else that could use my services in the neighborhood or anywhere, just let me know.
Okay.
All right, well, everyone cross their fingers.
All
Mm.
right. So that's it. So we're preparing the buyer. That's all we're doing. We're preparing them. Hey, we're gonna be doing some showings. Get out.
Yeah,
Not like that, but you did a good job. How
I
did you
thought you
feel,
did.
Emily?
I got lost at the part about locking the door. I wasn't sure where it was heading. I was like, what
Oh,
is this? So,
okay. Well, it sounded good to me. You made her, you have this way of, I feel like, making people feel comfortable, putting their mind at ease, and you explain it to where, like I said, they just feel comfortable.
It makes
So,
sense. Yeah.
yeah. All right, Kevin, what's up?
Nothing much. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Hey, check this out. Yesterday, or early this morning, actually, we released a new podcast. You were on it. I don't know if you had a chance to listen to it yet. You're pretty much on all of them, but I wanted to let you know one of the things that I heard on there was I said, Kevin, need some more energy. We need energy, right? So, uh, and you did it once, and it was kind of mediocre. And then I said, Kevin, let's bring more energy, and you brought the energy, dude. So that's what I want. I wanted to tell you straight up right now. Bring the energy. In this script, you have this listing. This is your listing. Now you're gonna prepare the seller. Hey, we're going to show the house, So just bring that energy. Again, I'll set the stage. A potential buyer wants to see the home listed for sale on the MLS, either at an open house or at a private showing.
Mm.
All right. The requirements are that you have the home secured by a residential listing agreement.
Okay.
All right. It's on the MLS. The open house is scheduled, the private showings are allowed, and the intention is to have the homeowner leave the home so that the showing agent can have privacy between them and their client. So yeah, there's a buyer coming over, right? Whether it's your buyer or another buyer, all we're doing is preparing the homeowner, our client. Hey, there's some showings that are going to be happening, and they're gonna do it through an open house, or they might use a private showing through like Showing Time or something like that, where they scheduled a 15 to 20-minute appointment to come through and view the home. But this is
Okay.
your listing, so you're just preparing your client. Hey, showings are going to take place and we need you out of the house. So whenever you're ready, go ahead, get started, and we'll go from there.
This is a phone call or is it in person?
This is in person. You're preparing the buyer. You're there. I mean, it could be a phone call too, but let's do it as if you're there.
Okay. Mr. Tunsil, as you know, the home is on the multiple listing service and is listed for sale. As a heads up, there will be several people who want to see your home. It is best practice that you not be present when the buyer and their agent is previewing the home. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
Okay, because they need to be able to feel, as a home is feel as home as possible, and the privacy to have a meaningful conversation between themselves and their agent. And during the week while you're out and before you leave the house, just make sure your home is as welcoming as possible. Open up the blinds a bit if you want, spray some air freshener, or just wipe down a few countertops. Make sure you leave the lights on in dark areas that may not get natural light. Do you have any questions so far?
Not so far. That kind of makes sense. Okay.
There are usually a lot of showings during the week. When this happens, please just be prepared to leave the house either by all day during a time that we specify and agree to. For example, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Or if it's by appointment, then the buyer's agent should call beforehand to schedule an appointment. When that happens, wait for the agent and their client to show up, and then you can leave until they're finished. Most showings only last about 15-20 minutes. When the buyer absolutely loves the home, then they want to stay extra to talk about, making an offer on the home with their agent. And then in that case, if they're serious, about making an offer, you might want to allow them to stay a little longer. I mean, after all, the plan is to sell your home, right?
Yeah, no, you're right. Absolutely.
And one last thing, if you are here when the agent and their client arrives to preview the home, please lock the door. Make sure you allow them inside. Lock the door before you allow them inside. And the reason is just for security. We want to make sure you're safe and good to go. We only want licensed agents and their clients entering the home. We got a lock box on the home on the door, and only the agent have access to those lock boxes. And it's a matter of security and showing. And if the showing agent doesn't like that, if or gets upset about it, then it's fine. Just use me as your listing agent and tell them to give me a call to discuss. Just lock the door behind you. There's no expectation when it comes to safety, right?
That's right. No, I appreciate you saying that, and I appreciate you taking security into consideration. So I will definitely lock the door. And just to confirm, they will anybody who enters my house will always be represented or be with an agent. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. All right. Well, that sounds good to me. So yeah, whenever they're here, just either let me know or we'll schedule some time and I'll be out.
Awesome. Great.
All right, cool. All right, let's flip the script. I'm going to do it real quick. All right.
All right.
All right, Kevin. Hey, man. As you know, the home is on the multiple listing service, the MLS, and is listed for sale. Just as a heads up, there will be several people who will want to see your home. It's normally best practice that you are not present when the buyer and the agent preview the home. They need to be able to feel as home as possible and the privacy to have a meaningful conversation between themselves and their agent. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, perfect. So during the week, while you are at work and before you leave the house, let's just make sure that your home is as welcoming as possible. Open up all the blinds and the interior doors, leave all the lights on that are in dark areas mainly, that might not get any natural light. There are usually a lot of showings during the weekend. When this happens, please be prepared to leave the house either all day during a time that we will specify and agree to. So, for example, 10 to 4, we might do an open house or something like that, but we'll agree to that beforehand. If it's by appointment, then the buyer's agent should call beforehand to schedule an appointment. Usually they'll call me, I'll call you, and then we'll come to an agreement. When that happens, just wait for their agent and their client to show up. Then you can leave when they're finished. And most of these showings last only about 15 to 20 minutes. When the buyer absolutely loves your home, and this is the most important part, when they absolutely love your home and they want to stay a little extra to talk about making an offer, that is the perfect opportunity to allow them to stay a little bit longer because they're serious about making an offer. And after all, the plan is to sell your home, right?
Right.
Perfect. So one last thing, if you are here when an agent and their client arrives to preview your home, please, Kevin, lock the door before you allow them inside.
There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, well, the reason for this, and as you might know, security is one of our number one priorities. We only want licensed agents and their clients entering the home. There is a lockbox on the door, and the agents can have access to those lockboxes. It's a matter of security. If the showing agent does not like that or gets upset about it, then that's fine. Just use me as your listing agent and tell them to call me to discuss it. Okay. So just lock the door behind you. There is no exception when it comes to safety. So we know for example, just to reiterate, we know that they're going to call and schedule some time to come and see the home. There's a lockbox on the door. You leave, they can open the lockbox and get the key out themselves. That's the way this works. And if they have a problem with that, you call me and I'll call them or have them call me and we'll discuss it. But they should be entering the door by entering through that lockbox first. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Perfect. So that's it for me. Otherwise, do you have any questions before we move on?
I'm just trying to figure out if I should move the dining table.
Leave everything as is, as we've discussed, because it's in showing condition right now. It's perfect.
Okay, well, no, I don't have any more questions.
Cool. All right, Kevin. Well, I appreciate your time and looking forward to selling your house. All right, so that's the script. I hope that you found it very useful. To download the script, just go ahead and head over to realestatescriptspodcast.com. There'll be a link there for you to download the script. This podcast is for the purpose of education only, and it does not make any guarantees. We suggest you seek out the help of your broker, coach, or mentor for specific situations. Brought to you by Darren Tunstall at Repros, California DRE number 018534445.